I'm Chris Brown from Western Kentucky, and you're listening to ResortLoop.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Please board quickly and safely. Our monorail will be departing momentarily. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of ResortLoop.com. I'm your host, Bob Collar. You don't hear Tim Scott today because I'm not sure anybody can hear Tim today. He's still fighting off that cold. His voice is pretty much gone. So he won't be joining us today for the podcast, but I am lucky enough to have my family with me today. And we were all sitting around the dinner table tonight talking about our past Disney trip, and we thought, you know, we never talked about the new Fantasyland. We never discussed the whether the new Fantasyland was good or not so good. So I'd like to welcome my family, Patty.
Hi.
Emily.
Hi.
And Bobby.
Hi.
And our dog is laying on the couch with us as well.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I think just lick the microphone, so there goes that. But anyway, so there's been a lot said about the new Fantasyland. It is beautiful, but is it as good as the old Fantasyland? Is it better than the old Fantasyland? We gave up ToonTown, Mickey's ToonTown, for it. So we're just going to kind of go around and talk about our initial impressions of the new Fantasyland expansion, and then kind of go into some detail after that. So, Patty, why don't you go ahead and tell us your first impressions of the new Fantasyland?
Well, I think, first of all, my expectations were really probably extremely high because I had looked through all the marketing material that had come out about it, and when we saw it, they weren't quite done. I think that there were still some parts of it that were under construction.
Right, the mine cars, the
Right.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs mine car ride is not done yet.
Right. So, I mean, I knew going in that it wasn't complete, but in my mind it was. So when I went there, I think I was expecting to be blown away. And it was very, very nice. I mean, it was themed, really nice. The colors were beautiful. And the lights, remember the lights in front of that bathroom, the lampposts with...
Right, the new Tangled.
Yes, I love that. I love the Tangled bathroom.
Everybody loves the Tangled bathrooms,
Yeah.
yes.
But anyway, having said all that, I was really hyped up by the marketing material because the brochure was so beautiful. And, of course, the princesses are my favorite, particularly Cinderella, which there wasn't anything about Cinderella there. Which, of course not, because there you have the castle, so, but I thought that it was really, really nice, and I think it's the perfect place for little girls. And if I would have been 5 years old, I'm sure I would have been breathless. I mean, it would have been,
Right, now let's go over real quick before we go on. Now, when you go in, of course... the Dumbo ride is no longer where it originally was. It has been moved down to where ToonTown would have been, and there's 2 Dumbo rides now, so that's nice. You don't have as much waiting for that. ToonTown, of course, is gone, except for Mickey or Goofy's Barnstormers are still there, the roller coaster, and they kind of did a little revamp of Donald Duck's boat. The boat's not there, but they now have the circus theme where the kids can run through the water over there.
That was nice. I like that.
Yeah, that was very nice, especially at night. The lights were great.
Yeah, even though we didn't use it, I mean, I think it's primarily for little kids. But it was fun to look at, and I remember thinking that, boy, if our kids were younger, we would really get some use out of this.
Right. So... So then you have really the only ride other than Dumbo and Goofy's Barnstormer that was originally there is now you have the Voyage of the Little Mermaid ride, which is the dark ride, and we rode that in California as well as in Disney World. So, Emily, what are your impressions the new Fantasyland.
I agree with Mom completely. I think my expectations were really high, but a lot of them were met. I mean, the fact that it was still under construction, I mean, it kind of takes away a little bit when you see like a half-built ride in this, beautiful landscape.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that, but I think it really, it lived up to most of my expectations. But I'd like to just say the Dumbo ride, I don't like the way they refurbished it, the way that there's more than one, ride, because like that's like the trademark of Disney is that Dumbo ride, and it's always been just that one, the one ride
Right.
with the elephants, and now it's like I think there were 4.
No, there's two Dumbo rides.
Well,
now.
yeah.
And then all the Dumbos that I'm not exactly sure how many Dumbos are on each ride, but
Yeah.
that was because Dumbo was such a high demand, probably still is a high demand ride, and it's a
Yeah.
slow loader, as they say. And so they were just trying to give more people less of a wait and more people the opportunity to ride it. So
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. It's kind of disappointing to see, because like that was my childhood. Like I loved that ride, and it was just the
Right.
one. And it was just
right
kind of
behind the castle, right
Yeah.
behind the carousel.
Do you know why
right.
she loves that ride? Because she spent the entire time in line on your shoulders.
Well,
She
that's
loves that ride because she got to take a nap for the 2 hours that you waited to get
this.
her on
This
that
was
ride.
as when
That
I was a
is true.
child too. By the way, this wasn't last year. Just clearing that up a little bit.
Okay, so Bobby, what was your impressions of the new Fantasyland?
I agree with Mom. They marketed it. Marketed it.
Marketed. That's good. He is getting
like-
straight A's. Believe it or not, he's getting straight A's.
Yeah, they made it I think they made it too small. Like, when you think of Frontiersland, you think of more than just 2 rides, or 3 rides, including Dumbo. But I wouldn't even consider Dumbo as a Fantasyland ride. I'd consider it more of a Main Street area, attraction. Like, it should be that, since it was one of the original, movies that Disney made. And one of the most, classic rides there.
Well, now, as a boy, how did you feel about the ride? Or I'm sorry, the Fantasyland. Did it even hold your interest for very long?
No, not really. Until the minecarts get made, I might, be a little bit excited. But it's just, that's
Right.
kind of like Disney's supposed to be available to every person, but it seems like Fantasyland's too much of a girl area,
Right. Right.
like Frontiersland, everybody goes to Frontiersman. Like Tomorrowland, there's no one gender rides there,
Right.
but
right. It's not gender specific, any of the other lands. Right?
yeah, but Fantasyland seems to revolve around princesses, so that kind of puts a dampener on boys that go there.
Right. Now, one thing that we can't really talk about is the Be Our Guest restaurant. We didn't get to eat in there.
Unfortunately,
We did go in Gaston's Tavern.
that was
What-
awesome. That was awesome.
Why was it off?
Well, the decor inside, the theming inside. It was just there's a huge fireplace with is it Gaston's portrait above the fireplace?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then the chairs made out of I don't know, some kind of skin, some kind of animal skin. I don't even know what.
I'm sure it was fake because
Yeah,
it's Disney.
I'm sure it was. The tables were made of wood. They looked like they had been made out of tree trunks and stuff like that. And they had the mugs with Gaston on the mug, and you got to, what was that drink?
I don't know, but it was good.
LeFou's Brew.
Yeah.
LeFou's Brew.
I think
was
that was
good.
one of my favorite spots is the tavern.
Yeah.
Well, we got lucky because we just walked right in. There was there were a couple of people in front of us in the line, and then there was a table. We actually got to sit in probably the premier table right in the middle of the room by the fireplace. So that helped.
Right. And, I can't wait to go back because, like Emily was saying and Bobby was saying, they had a section blocked off with, those construction panels that you can't see behind.
Right.
And it sort of took away from the whole look of it. So I would like to go back and see it complete, the construction completely done, because that one area where it's Belle's Castle and what was the other? There's two there, isn't there?
There's Ariel's Castle now and Belle's, and then if you go on the other side of Fantasyland over past Small World, heading out toward the Haunted Mansion, that's where you'll find the Tangled bathrooms and the Tangled Tower is there.
And that was beautiful. I mean, we were there in the evening, and it was just, that made an impression on me. I'll have that memory forever.
I would like to add, I wouldn't think that Fantasyland would be considered a land. I would like.
Well, not yet.
Yeah, but I mean, even with the ride build, I mean, they made it a big ride, but it's still just one ride. I mean, it just takes up space, A section would be like 2-3 rides, but all the other lands have more than just 2-3 rides,
No,
Plus,
not
you're a thrill seeker.
necessarily.
Bobby's a thrill seeker.
I mean,
Yeah,
Frontierland.
this is a boy talking
Exactly,
about
yeah.
Fantasyland. There you go. This is why we're doing this. See.
Yeah, so if you have a 12-year-old son, he's probably not going to jump up and down to go to Fantasyland.
Right. Now the teacups are still there. We enjoy the teacups, not Mom so much.
No, not at all.
Little sick in the stomach when you ride the teacups. So, Bobby? What would you say then was your favorite part of Fantasyland?
My favorite part was probably Gaston's Tavern, because I didn't like the cream on top of whatever that slushy. I think it was like apple juice slushy.
LeFou's Brew. Yes.
I like what was underneath, like the cream on the top.
Yeah, you didn't like that part.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah.
I like the more of the slushy part of it instead of
Right. Now we also got to see Gaston. We didn't get to talk to Gaston, but we got to see.
Gosh, I know. He was hilarious.
He was so funny. He really, all the characters in, all the theme parks, all the lands, they all, take their character into mind and their character's personality and everything. But this guy took it over the top. I mean, he was hilarious, almost to the point of being mean to some people.
Yeah.
Like he was
It was like a
kinda
comedy
rude,
routine.
but
Yeah,
it
he was really good.
It was good.
Yeah, he was very much into being Gaston.
Yeah, he enjoyed it. I could tell.
So, just real quick, when you walk into, for those of you who haven't been to the new Fantasyland expansion, when you go into Fantasyland and you have the carousel in front of you, most of the things off to the left, Small World, Pinocchio's Village House, Mickey's PhilharMagic, Peter Pan, that's all still there. Everything that really hasn't changed all that much except for the Tangled bathrooms that are over there. Everything off to the right of the carousel is pretty much brand new except for, like I said, the teacups and Mickey or Goofy's Barnstormers. Right. I'm losing my mind here.
There, the walkways, weren't there hoof prints in Fantasyland in the walkways?
Yes, there were, especially by Belle's Castle because of Felipe.
See, all that detail. Disney knows how to do it.
Now, we rode the new ride there is, of course, the Little Mermaid ride. We rode that. What did you think of the Little Mermaid ride, Em?
Well, before I talk about how I felt about the ride. Mother decided that she was going to take a picture in the middle of the ride when it specifically stated at the beginning, "No flash photography, please."
I know. I should have known
She took
better.
like 3 pictures.
I don't know what I was
in
thinking.
the darkest part of the ride.
I know.
The part where Ariel is going to be kissed by Prince Eric.
Oh,
and she
yes.
didn't believe me when I told her that, no, you're not allowed to take pictures. And that's my story of how
I was
our
one of those people.
experience. And
One
then
of those
some
people,
woman,
yes.
And then some
Yes.
woman, when
I
we're walking out of the
lost my
ride, left her kid, just up and left her kid in the ride and didn't look back for him. The kid is like running, trying to catch up to his mom.
It's okay.
She's got,
It's
like,
Disney. They
4
have lost and
kids.
found. It's okay. They'll
4 or 5, I think she might have even had 6 kids. And they're all just like little ones. And she's not even paying attention. I'm like, okay. Looks like...
Bobby, what you think of the new aerial ride?
I liked it. I mean,
Okay,
I
let's
can't
move
really
on.
add anything more than that. I mean,
We are moving
I
on.
liked it. I liked the musical part of it. I don't know. It's
I
just-
really liked when they sang Under the Sea. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I
that was
really
very nice.
enjoyed it. I loved that ride. It's
Well,
it's
you took
one
a
of my-
picture.
well, yeah, and I have a lasting
documented
memory.
it.
I know. I apologize, everyone. Believe me, I know how annoying that is. But yes, I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite rides. Now,
Very good.
I think that they should make a Great Mouse Detective ride in Fantasyland.
That would be good. Yeah.
Because we love that movie since it's based off of Sherlock Holmes.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. That would be a good one. All right. So we're going to wrap up here in a few minutes, but this is going to be kind of a short show since Tim can't be with us. But real quick, we're going to go around. Was it worth the new Fantasyland expansion, or should they have kept Mickey's Toontown and pretty much kept everything the way it was? Patty?
no, absolutely not. I think it was a fantastic idea that they expanded Fantasyland. I think they did a fantastic job with the new area. I can't wait to see it. It's finished now? Is it finished?
Once the mine rides start, that's coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah, then I just can't wait to see it finished, and I love it. I think it's a great addition.
Emily?
I agree. I really like the new Fantasyland. I think it adds something. I mean, Disney World is, it's for everyone. It's for little boys and little girls, but I feel like it makes it's something special that's there because you've got Frontierland and all the other.
The Buzz Ride.
Yeah, you've got like the Buzz Ride in Tomorrowland. You've got Frontierland with all the Davy Crockett everything, and and I mean, if you're a little girl, of course you can like that stuff. I mean, I love that stuff, but you also, I mean, you also love princesses, and you also love that, and I mean, all you have is the castle. So I think that really made something special for little girls.
Okay. Bobby?
I don't think that it was worse than Toontown. Toontown was fun, but again, Toontown could be better. It could have been better. I'm glad that they put something there. It's just they should put more than just 4 new things. They should actually make Fantasyland a whole land. Frontierland has a whole island.
keep in mind, we're just talking about the Fantasyland expansion, the new stuff that they put in. Keep in mind, they still have the teacups, they still have Mickey's PhilharMagic, the carousel, Small World, Peter Pan's Flight. They still have all of that stuff. That's still all part of Fantasyland.
Oh, okay, then, yeah, I think that they did a pretty good job with it. Fantasyland seems like it takes up a large majority of the park. But then again, Frontierland has a whole island dedicated to it.
Yeah, Tom Sawyer's Island. Right,
Well,
right.
you know what? I think, too, you brought up a good point. I think a lot of new people to Disney World probably wouldn't realize that whole area is Fantasyland. Because they get the brochure that says Fantasyland, and it's talking about all the, the new expansion. So I think someone new to Disney World would think that just that new part is Fantasyland. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Once you get there and see, a lot of the old Fantasyland is still there. This is just the new portion that took over all of ToonTown. So, real quick, favorite part of Fantasyland?
Oh, that's Gaston's Tavern, and I like the aerial ride.
I loved the whole atmosphere, and I really loved the castles. It reminded me a lot of Hogwarts and at the Harry Potter Wizarding World and at Universal Studios, and I really love the optical illusion of it, because the castles look humongous from where you're standing, and they look just so grand, and I really love it. They're beautiful.
I liked Gaston's tavern and the bathrooms. And I'm really, hoping that the mine ride gets done quickly.
I agree. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. We'll revisit this, as they say, once the new mine ride kicks in and we get a chance to ride that. That is supposed to be fantastic. That new mine ride is supposed to be just an amazingly fun ride. So,
and we have to go to Be My Guest. I was really disappointed we couldn't get in there.
Me too.
That would probably.
That's because I can't book 180 days out. I can't do it.
But we really have to try and get in there, because I think we missed out by not being able to check that out.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that was one that we missed, and of course we went up during dinner time, and they wouldn't let us in because we didn't have reservations. So we will have to definitely check that out. Now, all of Fantasyland, including the old parts of Fantasyland, favorite ride?
Oh, well, it's not a ride, but of course Mickey's Philharmonic.
Philharmagic.
Yeah.
Emily? A 15-year-old girl's perspective. Favorite ride, Fantasyland.
I agree with Mom. I really love Philharmagic. It's really great. It's a good ride.
And a 13-year-old boy's perspective of Fantasyland, favorite ride.
My favorite ride is the Peter Pan ride, because I love how the ship goes above London. But London, since it gives you the illusion that you're so high above when it's just a miniature London.
Right.
I just
Classic
love that
Disney
part
ride.
of it, and you circling around Neverland and seeing all those places. That's probably my favorite ride.
Very good. And I'm gonna wrap this up with my favorite ride and my perspective of the new Fantasyland. I think it's beautiful. I think it was very well done. Like you said, Emily, I think the whole forced perspective of the castles really makes you feel like those are real castles off in the distance, and it's beautiful. I think it's better than ToonTown was, and my favorite is, and I got to go with the old classic. I'm going Small World. I love going on Small World. I know that song gets stuck in your head forever, but ever since they refurbed it, or as Tim likes to say, rehabbed it. It's beautiful. It's just very, very nice. So, guys, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
No problem.
You're welcome.
All right, now you must all go do homework and things. So, anyway, hey, everybody, thanks so much for listening. And, we send out our wishes to Tim for a speedy recovery. We certainly need him on the show, as you can tell by this horrible audio. If you want to get a hold of us, check us out on our website, ResortLoop.com, Facebook /ResortLoop. If you want to like us on Facebook, we'd appreciate that. Of course, on the Twitter, it's ResortLoop Tim and ResortLoop Bob on the Twitter. Don't forget our voicemail line, 414-WDW-LOOP. And listen to us on Stitcher and rate us on iTunes and all that fun stuff. And for Tim Scott, I'm Bob Collar. You've been listening to The Gateway to the Magic. See you, everybody. You liked walking around ToonTown and going in Mickey and Minnie's house and all that stuff?
I do.
Can I say that again?
Yes. All right, you ready?